Okay, now we're going to look at specimen E and F. Okay, specimen E is just like a remain of specimen D, another Pride of Barbados, but this time it is the leaf of Pride of Barbados. Okay, so now the leaf of Pride of Barbados from here. Okay, now you may ask to compare it with this. Okay, there are a lot of comparison in as much as the both are Pride of Barbados, but this is quite different. Being leaf, this is a point of receptacle through which this flower is anchored on the Pride of Barbados tree itself. Okay, the leaf is just like a guinea grass, only that guinea grass appears to have a kind of a parallel pointer or parallel venation. So the leaf of Pride of Barbados, just like specimen F, appears to be the same color, green in color. Okay, they are good sites for photosynthesis, and then they are also just like the Pride of Barbados still referred to as flamboyant or flame of the forest. So these are the parts that also used for beautification. You see some kind of places where this are cultivated for beautifying environments. Okay, this is also plants because of the nature. You see the plants. Okay, how it is positioned. You now see a strategic point on the tree. You now start seeing the flower attached through the receptacle. Okay, and then looking at specimen F, which is guinea grass, very important. Okay, guinea grass. Okay, so we have specimen the guinea grass diagram here on the board. Okay, you often know guinea grass that forms part of a foliage plants for grazing animal. Okay, that's one thing. And then looking at the leaves of this plant, what are the two things you observe from a guinea plant is that the long leaf, I think all the leaves are blade, flagged leaf. You can see some of the leaves flagged. Okay, something about this plants is that it has a spikelets, okay, which appears to be what aid these plants for sexual reproduction. Okay, and again, looking at the structure, you now see there is a stolon, creeping stolon, okay, which made it possible for this plant to easily spread around in a farmland, and in that become so unwanted. So they now grow as weed, okay, and then trying to inhibit other plants, and that's why the leaf becomes so unwanted because on how fast they grow. One thing you must take home from this particular specimen is the fact that it acts as a foliage, or it acts as a food for ruminants, animals, or grazing animals such as cow, rabbits, and so on and so forth. Then one good thing again we're going to pick out from here is about the nature of the plant. The plant is a perennial plant. Yes, it's not an annual plant. It's a plant that can grow in 2 or more years and stays like that. So it's a perennial plant. Suppose they ask you in terms of the life cycle, classify these plants in terms of its life cycle. So the plant is perennial plant. You can compare this specimen with this specimen in terms of color. Okay, this one have green, color is not that's as bright as Pride of Barbados in terms of comparison. Now look at some of the things that you can see here and you don't see here. Okay, so this does not form edible, it does not edible for most of this grazing animal, but this is very, very important. And then because of the creeping roots it has, this can well be structured and can spread as fast in a farmland, and at that point they become unwanted weed, because they're going to be inhibiting growth of other crops that are cultivated in a particular farmland. So these are questions that will come out from here is to state some few observable features of this. As you can see, this particular part is very, very key to what you see creeping, because the specimen is going to be uprooted. So most biology teachers will provide this. So it's not a case where it is improvised, because at this point, this is going everywhere, just to uproot it from the soil and then keep it. So you look at this, you now find that it can even come with some kind of soil or sand particles in it. So you see the creeping. What is the adaptation of this? It makes it spread so fast in a particular given farmland. So there's a ground through which all these are built upon. The peduncle, all these parts are for sexual reproduction. The leaves are in the form of blade. Okay, blade-like leaf. Blade-like leaf. In terms of comparing this leaf and this leaf, this is broad leaf. You look at the color of this and look at the color of this, you can put that as comparison. Okay, this particular parts of this flower is just like this parts of this flower, but in this case, here it is called the crown, the collar, and the column load bears these upper parts of the plants. Okay, this is another. So we are going to look at another specimen, which is specimen G and H. Specimen G is cocoyam plants, whole plants. Okay, and then comes of cocoyam. Okay, there's not much interest. There's not much interest in examiners on these two specimens, but the facts still remain. Is that the examiner will want to know if you can differentiate between a combs of cocoyam and the whole plant of cocoyam. So this whole plant of cocoyam starts without a combs. A combs is just like a tuber, but it's not a tuber. It's just like that's like a round ball shape of coconuts. Okay, and then so like the eyes and then the heads. Okay, so this combs is used for cultivating. So this is the part of the cocoyam that is buried underground, through which this particular whole plant of cocoyam will now start to sprout, and from there it now starts having creeping stolon or creeping roots. Okay, through which it spreads. Okay, the cocoyam plant itself, one of the economic importance of cocoyam is serve as a stable food. Okay, of course, stable food also is a cash crop, and also we look at the fact that the plant's leaf can be used for wrapping food, and can also be edible to some kind of grazing animal. I mean, the whole plant. This is an economic importance of cocoyam plants. And then the combs is just like the seedlings of cocoyam, okay, which the part that is cultivated, and you may be asked to draw, maybe you see it's shown in the video that the structure of combs of cocoyam. Okay, this is specimen J and K, dry humus, moist humus. Okay, there will be just a very few questions the examiners will be asking you in terms of looking at the two specimen. Specimen J, dry humus, that is kind of part of soil and topmost layer of the soil that has depth matter on it. Okay, so these are the parts where some plants and animals on the surface of the soil decay by microorganisms. So this eventually becomes humus, and then they make the part of the soil look dark brown in color. Okay, so the humus that is dry, if you touch it, it will flake. It just flake knowing that there is no water, but there is still some kind of that color of humus that's giving that particular soil that dark brown, which is also exactly that of specimen K, which is same color with this, but only that this one contains some content, some mass of water. That's why it is moist. And this specimen G, there is absence of water. Looking at the kind of feature, that is why it is dry. And in that state, it appears not to be that useful for plants, because here the nutrients is here, but cannot be absorbed by plants, being that the soil with this humus is dried. So the nutrients content in this particular humus cannot penetrate. And again, the microorganism that ought to have been in this soil, in that soil called humus, is no longer there to carry out the activities of decomposing some of these matters. So they are not there because kind of humid kind of favor the viability of this microorganism. So what this has is just nutrients, but this nutrient cannot be tapped by plants. So most likely these nutrients, the plant absorbs nutrients more often when it is dissolved. The plant have access to nutrients in the soil when it is dissolved in dissolved form than when it is dry. So there is nutrients here, but can't be absorbed in plants. So this one has water, and that means the nutrient can well be absorbed. So this one is more useful to a farmer than dry humus. Okay, looking at the two, what appears to you when you touch the moist one, it doesn't flake, just like specimen J. So the economic importance of specimen K is that it is rich in microorganisms, it is also rich in nutrients, and can easily be absorbed by plants. This one is rich in nutrients, but for the fact that there is no water in it, and that is the kind of disadvantage to specimen K. It has the nutrient, but the nutrient cannot have access to plants since the nutrient has to be in dissolved form. There is no presence of microorganism here anymore because of that dryness or dry content of the specimen. So you're going to be looking at this specimen to compare and contrast. They both have the same color. One appears to be dry, one appears to be moist. Okay, one appears to grow microorganism, which also helps some microbial activities to go on. There is no microbial activity going on here because there is no access to water. And again, here, these nutrients are there, but they are not absorbed. Here, nutrients are there, they are easily absorbed because of moisture. The last part of the specimen is LMN, since this is where specimen ends. So let's wrap it up with this. So we have a specimen L, ripe orange fruit. So okay, you're going to be looking at the walls of the orange, how ripe orange, have a touch of yellow, green. So you can see greenish yellow, and basically the color appearance of this specimen because it is ripe, greenish yellow. Okay, so that is the color of this. Okay, looking at this coconut, it appears that the back part of it is an exocarp. Before you start seeing the endocarp, or before you see the endocarp, okay, one probably is the endosperm. Okay, before you see the endosperm, there's the back that most likely before you start seeing the brownish color of the apicarp of the fruits. Okay, let's go coconut with apicarp. That's what it is. So, but before we come to coconut, let's look at questions that will likely come out from this. Okay, or any of these specimens, they have kind of great similarities and also differences. Okay, looking at this is a cross-sectional area, basically transverse section, the one you cut like this. Okay, but let's not rule the fact that they may also cut from up, that is longitudinal section. But in this video, I will be explaining transverse section of an orange fruit. Okay, the reason why it is in this form is to see how the seeds are arranged around the placenta. And then you ask the questions coming out this way, that you should state the type of placentation in specimen L. What form of placentation is in specimen L? Saying the seed arranged in the central axis, so this is a typical axial placentation. That's what you see, placentation. So there in this video, in this practical, there's a lot of placenta here. Placenta is specimen C, now the same placenta, and all that. Okay, that's the kind of placentation. And the reason why this type is common here is simply because on how the seeds are centrally arranged, and that is the reason. Okay, please take notes. Placentation, specimen L, is axial placentation. We're going to be looking at the axial, other of the fruits, what type of placentation. But once we are done with this, so look at another question that may be coming up now is the fact that this is the diagram of an orange. This is the epicap, that is the out wall. The next wall is mesocap. The inner wall is endocap, where you have succulent part that is very fleshy and then edible, and most likely edible. Then you now have the seeds, how it's arranged around the placenta in the central axis. Can you give me an example of other fruits that are arranged in this manner in the central axis? You can even mention chili pepper, even though it goes along this way, but the fact still remains that all the seeds are arranged, gathered in the center of the placenta. Okay, this is also another example. Chili pepper in Igbo is tatashi, okay, or shomwe. That's part of pepper. The appearance of this can come in different colors. There's a green pepper of this, there's a greenish one, and that is used in making salad. There's the red one that is used in cooking tomato stew. So these are the varieties of this occurrence of this. Okay, coming over to orange, because I'm not finished yet from orange. Okay, now let's start with the fruit type of this. There are so many types of fruit. Your fruit can either be false fruit or true fruit, but basically this is a true fruit. All the fruits you see are all true fruits. Okay, they are true fruit. Why are they true fruit? Because these are fruits. These fruits here, both L and N, are fruit that are formed from monocarpous. A monocarpous flower, a single carpel flower. So that's why they are true fruits. They are true fruits because basically specimen L is a true fruit because they are made from a monocarpous flower. Monocarpous. So that's why they are true fruits. Okay, coming to the aspect of true fruit. When you come to true fruit, you have true fruit that are fleshy. Okay, true fruit that are fleshy. Okay, they are fleshy true fruits because they are succulent and also edible. Okay, so under the true fruits, they belong to the class of true fruits that are succulent or edible Okay, since they belong to that class of true fruits, which are the edible, they are edible because they can easily be eaten by man and other animals. Now look at another question that will come in now. Since this fruit is eaten easily by man and other animals, what mode of dispersal can be possible in this class of specimen? Okay, since it's been eaten by man and other animal because of its edibility, this fruit is basically dispersed by man and other animal. Okay, something that can help to spread it. Okay, so where there will be less competition. Okay, so that is what this fruit stands for. It will be dispersed by man or other animal. Keep reason why it is dispersed by man. Reason being that the fruit here is edible because it is succulent, fleshy, okay, and also soft. Okay. Now, since it is a true fleshy fruit, let's now narrow it down because all these ones are also fleshy fruit as well, also succulent. Let's narrow it down to the type of succulent fruit here. Because if you're coming to fruit, we have first mentioned the fact that this fruit type is true fruit. Okay, true succulent. Now, narrowing down to succulent like soft, endocap is soft. Okay, so that is what it is. Now that we are now narrowing the succulent nature of these fruits. What type of succulent? Because there are some succulent fruits that are berry. There are some succulent fruits that are hesperidea. there are some that are drupe. Out of these three types of succulent fruit, which type fits this particular specimen L? Out of these three, this fruit is Hesperidia. Hesperidia. Hesperidium. So can even use what Hesperidium, since we're talking about one particular fruit is Hesperidia, but Hesperidia is a type of berry. Okay, but we're mentioning Hesperidia just simply because of the nature of how the seeds are. Many seeds, not as many seeds, some seeds are centrally arranged. Remember, the placentation is axil, but in terms of being fleshy, you can eat everything here. It is a type of berry, but placed under Hesperidia. Hesperidia, that is for orange. Okay, so that's that. Remember that the reason why this axil placenta is because of the way the seeds are arranged. Okay, dispersal is man and other animal, or dispersed by man. Why is it easily dispersed by man? Because it is edible. Always take note of that. Because it is edible. Give one class of food that can be derived from this specimen when eaten by animal. One class of food. This fruit is very rich in vitamin. It's the citrus fruit, so it's rich in vitamin. Can be asked to give one function of vitamin. Okay, vitamins are okay. What type of vitamins is vitamin? Basically, you see vitamin C here. Okay, the role of vitamin C specifically here is it prevents bleeding gums. So, but deficiency of not having these vitamins can lead to scurvy, a condition of bleeding gums. Okay, coming to the next piece, which is lunch, the other section of cocoyam. Okay, some remains of the exocarp, that is the external, that's parts that is removed before we now go to the browny, stony part of it. Okay, which is the nut itself. They now have the seed, the whitish seed, which appears to be edible. Okay, comparing these two are fruit, these two are true fruit, they are also edible. Okay, but the way this fruit is dispersed is quite different from this fruit. This fruit is mainly dispersed, this coconut is mainly dispersed by what? By water. As mode of dispersal is by water. Okay, now in terms of narrowing it down, being succulent, now what aspect, if you want to narrow the true nature of these fruits, is it Hesperidia, is it drupe, is it berry? Of course, it belongs to the class of drupe. It is a drupe. Okay, drupe in the sense that comparing a number of seeds you see here, this is one seeded. True fruits, it just has one seeded fruit, which is edible, You don't see any other part edible apart from it, but you see all this part here is edible. So that's why you want to see Hesperidia, and this particular one is a drupe. So when it asks to comparison between these two, okay, one comparison between the two is let me the structural difference in between this and this. Okay, take looking at the parts with this have numerous seeds. You can see seeds are numerous here. This is just one seeded, so that's why this one is a type of berry, basically Hesperidia. This one is a drupe, considering the number of seed. Okay, it does appear that the mesocarp and the endocarp are fleshy, are succulents. Okay, fleshy fruits. But the only part that is very much edible here, that can be easily eaten quickly, is this part, which is the endocarp. So the mesocarp is not part that is eaten, but everything here is easily eaten up, okay, by man or any other animal. So that is basically this. So you have stony, the seed is stony, okay. The seed is being included by a stony mesocarp, but here mesocarp is soft and also flesh. Okay, these are structural differences between these two. There are other similarities but I will not be talking about structural similarities. In terms of similarities, both are fruits, both are true fruits, both are also edible. So these are the comparison between these two specimens. And then to the last one, which is longitudinal section of the chili pepper, tapashi, or shortbread. So you have it here. Okay, some can appear in different colors: green, making salad, and red for cooking tomato. Okay, basically you have a placentation type here, and then you have your placenta, how the seeds are arranged. It does appear that there are more numerous seeds here than here. So this is a clear case of a berry. So type of succulent fruit here is simply berry. Apart from this chili, less pepper, other